Good morning, everybody. It's Meg from Books Off the Beaten Path, and it is time for another early morning book review. And this is a really early morning book review because, my mom with her broken ankle, I have to get her up at 5 in order to take some medicine, some timed medicine, and different things like that. But anyway, we're up super early today, and we're dressed, and we're ready to go, and we're ready to meet our day. So what are we going to review? We are going to review Dr. Kildare Takes Charge. Now look how tiny this book is. Look at that. This only took me a couple of days to read. But it was good. I gave it a 4 stars. Haven't given a 5. Well, I've given one 5-star so far this year. And that was to Call Me By Your Name because it broke me. But anyway, we're not talking about Call Me By Your Name. We're talking about Dr. Kildare Takes Charge. So in this little novelette, I will call it, in this little novella, we've got 2 storylines. So we have a Dr. Carew, I think is how you spell it, C-A-R-E-W, Carew, and his teenage son and the teenage son's girlfriend. And so the teenage son goes to Dr. Carew, who is an associate of Dr. Kildare's, and he goes to him and he says, "Dad, I've got to get married. I've gotten this girl pregnant, but I love her to death, and I think we're going to be a great family together." And Dr. Carew, remember, this is copyright 1940, blows his stack. And he says, "You are not going to get married. You're going to forget about her. Just leave her. Forget about her. We're not going to have anything to do with this baby." No, nothing like that. And so the boy and the girl decide on a suicide pact. They decide on a suicide pact. And Dr. Kildare just instantly knows this. He sees the exchange. And then he sees the boy and the girl look at each other. And the first thing that comes to his mind is suicide pact. What? Okay, suicide pact. And so he can't deal with that at the moment, even though you just told us it was a suicide pact. He's got another problem going on. He's got a very good friend of his who is a doctor, and I think his name is Dr. Johnson. I think it's Dr. Johnson. So Dr. Johnson has his pregnant wife, and he is working in the laboratory of this big hospital for $18 an hour, which I think in 1940 is probably pretty damn good. I mean, because we got a lot of people working for $18 an hour now and getting by. But anyway, he's barely getting by. He's an actual doctor. He tried to build a practice and he couldn't build a practice, so he took the job in the lab at the hospital just to have some money coming in because she's pregnant. So now we switch over. There's an older Dr. Kildare. There's Dr. Kildare younger, and then Dr. Kildare, his father. And Dr. Kildare, his father, is a country doctor, Medwick. Yes, that's the name of the town, Medwick. So anyway, he's a country doctor. Older Dr. Kildare is a country doctor. And he is out all the time in the snow. It's around Christmas and everything like that. And he's running himself to exhaustion, going to this little town called Medwick. And Medwick, everybody is sick in Medwick. Everybody is sick in Medwick. And the people in Medwick think it's witchcraft. They think that everybody getting sick is witchcraft. I don't know where Dr. Kildare takes place. I don't know if it's in the Appalachians or upstate New York or anything like that, but they're convinced that it's witchcraft because everybody's sick. So Dr. Kildare is like, obviously we know it's not witchcraft. I can't have my father running himself to exhaustion to try to help these poor people. So I'm going to get together a team of doctors, and they're going to go to Medwick, and they are going to be like their own medical team in Medwick. So he gets together the team of doctors, including Dr. Johnson, and they all go out to Medwick, and they're like, "Oh, you poor ignorant hicks. They're nice to them, but they're like, you can't just drink water out of an old well. That's why you have dysentery. You have to cook the pork all the way through before you eat it. That's why you have worms. you know? And so the townspeople get really mad at the doctors, and the townspeople are like, nope, this is how we've done it forever, and we will stay being sick because we're not going to change our ways. So then Dr. Kildare has to go to like the mayor and get the mayor all involved and everything like that, and it's just a mess. But getting back to the suicide pact, which you would think would be an important, it's an important part of the story. So he confronts Dr. Carew, and Dr. Carew's like, my son is not going to commit suicide. That's not what we're made of. We're not that weak. We're not going to do that. So he calls the son's college, and the college is like, no, he hasn't been here in a week. And Dr. Carew again blows his top. And he's like, oh my God, where's my son? I shouldn't have said that. Please help me find my son, Kildare. Please help me find my son. So Kildare goes out and does find them. They're about to jump off the pier together. Now, they waited conveniently for close to a month so that Dr. Kildare could deal with the Medwick people for the weeks that took the Medwick people. So that was very courteous of them on their suicide pact. So anyway, they're about to jump off a pier, and Dr. Kildare stops them. Of course, he stops them. And they go back and they do get married. I don't know how they handled the situation of the child. It doesn't ever discuss it any more than just that first time that she was pregnant, but they go back and they do get married. And that was about it. It was a fast written book. It was, I would say, well written book. Max Brand wrote it, and he's kind of known for Westerns, but it was well written, and you turn the pages and you wanted to know what happened. You wanted to know what happened with the Medwick people, and you wanted to know what happened with the young lovers and everything like that. And Kildare came off, in my opinion, is kind of an a-hole. He's got this nurse that's in love with him, and he won't give her the time of day, but he calls her in off of her vacation to help with Medwick and everything. And I don't know, he came off as kind of an a-hole to me. I've read other Dr. Kildares, and he's been a little kinder. So, would I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend it. Especially Medwick. I loved Medwick because they were like, it's witchcraft. It's like, no, it's E. coli, you big boneheads. And they're all mad at the doctors because they're like, we're never going to stop drinking out of that well. You can't make us. But it was a good book. I gave it 4 stars. Pick it up if you're interested in Dr. Kildare. If you're not, fine. That's fine too. Give me a like, hit subscribe. I am sorry I am so rushed this morning. I've always been a fast talker, but when the dog is making me nervous out here because he's doing a lot of whining, so that makes me think that mom is up. And I'm gonna get my nurse's cap on, and I gotta be the nurse today until I go to work. So I hope nobody out there is suffering from any kind of sickness. And if you are, God love you. Prayers. And I will check you later.